Simplified Chaos, episode 96.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hello, wonderful friends. Welcome to Simplify Chaos. This is Jillian, one of your hosts, and I'm with my co-host and lovely husband, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks? Hope you all are having an amazing week. Jilly, we've got another great episodes for our listeners today. What are we talking about?
We are talking about the charities that bring us joy these days.
We've got quite a few of them. We had an eye-opener, I would say, this past weekend, which brought up this topic because that seems to be when all our topics get brought up, is when we have a little moment to think and really feel what matters to us.
Agreed.
Yeah, so more to come on that. But before we dive into our topic, we'd like to show a little gratitude. So, Jilly, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for my mom.
I was going to do that one too, but I kind of figure you would. So let's hear it. I already know why, but let's hear it.
So we were able to escape parenting for a night. And that is all thanks to my mom being open to watching Lucille Saturday night. So we escaped.
Saturday day, night, and early Sunday morning.
True. And it was a team effort. My sister kind of helped as well. So I'm grateful for just family, mom, my sister, for kind of helping out and letting us get some time alone, which was so needed and so welcomed and fucking awesome. We went on a hike and then we went to a winery, and all of this was like so spur of the moment. So like just listening to what we wanted to do and just doing it, and walking around downtown Winchester and just getting coffee. It's like all these small little things that I enjoy doing. We were able to do a shit ton of them in like a matter of 24 hours.
Yeah, basically 24 hours. Yeah, no, it was a great weekend. Obviously, it's good to have some alone time with you, but, you know, go to places that we usually go to and always have a good time. And we've made it a point to explore a couple new places and then also visit some places that we usually go. And it was good to catch up with some folks that we normally see out there as well. So, yeah. Thanks, Mom.
Yes. What about you?
I am grateful for technology.
All right.
Yeah. I just came up with this one literally 5 minutes ago. Literally. So we were getting ready to record the podcast about 20 minutes ago. I opened my laptop and basically was forced to do an update right as we're getting ready to podcast. I'm in the zone. I'm ready to go. Mm-hmm. This thing is like, no, we're doing this update right now. And you're not going to stop me, because if you do, you can ruin your computer. At least that's what it says. So normally that would tick me off, and it did. But then I was thinking while I was sitting here watching this thing start and stop, fan going on full blast, we wouldn't be able to put out this podcast without this technology.
Eureka.
Yeah.
Look at you.
So, you know what? It's all good. It took 20 minutes for this thing to update, but it made me realize it's got a greater purpose than to piss me off.
Good things take time.
Good things take time to marinate. So, yeah, technology's great. This computer's awesome. I was a little angry at first just because I was ready to go, but I realized the power that this small tool has given us. So I'm grateful for you, Lenovo ThinkPad.
And there's also so much good shit.
That is not a plug, by the way.
From things not going to plan.
Sure.
When things don't go to plan, so many beautiful things can unfold if you're open to it.
Yeah, I got to change my shirt.
But I think that's like just a metaphor of life. Like, there's so much fucking shit that doesn't go to plan. And if you're always like focused on the plan and the destination, it's like you're going to be really unhappy instead of just being open to, hey, didn't go that way.
Having high expectations.
Let's ride the wave anyway. Yeah.
I have low expectations for this computer now.
So happy to hear that. Oy.
All right, Jilly.
Cool.
So let's talk a little bit about charity / contributions, because we had a little bit of a eureka moment this past weekend on our trip to Winchester.
Yeah, we were having dinner, and of course there's cocktails involved, and we were listening to live music, and all of a sudden the person who was playing, I think he was playing the guitar, right? He was
just playing the guitar.
And he
wasn't even at the place that we're at. He was posted just a little bit. It was so the restaurant we ate at was on a walking mall, and we sat outside, and this guy was posted up probably about 2 storefronts up from where we were at, and he started playing Zombie by the Cranberries.
And this song is like immediately makes me think of Lucille, because we listen to it in the car all the time, and now Lucille just sings it randomly wherever we are.
Oh yeah.
So
that's her jam.
And he was really good. Like, we were listening to all of his music, and I was like, man, he's really good. Like, he was singing and playing, and then all of a sudden that song came on, and I was feeling pretty good, and I was like, and I just had this big shitty grin on my face. I'm like, do you hear what he's playing, Nick?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah. And I was like, I gotta go give him some money right now. And I had a $20 bill, and I was like, fuck it. Like, this song is bringing me so much joy right now. This guy is singing his heart out. He's really good. So I dropped it in his bucket, and I came back, and then that sparked the conversation about charity and how charities look different for us than what the norm is, I think. Usually when you think of charities, you think of bigger organizations and, you know, making very large donations and stuff like that. And I was just saying that I think our charities are more on a local level. They might be a musician playing down the street who just resonated with us. It might be giving a really big tip to a local business that we love visiting.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought that the way we give just looks different, I think, than what others may think about. And it brings us a lot of joy doing it that way. So I thought it'd be fun to share just the different ways that, you know, we contribute, or, you know,
Contribute.
Contraband.
Yeah. Oh,
It did
God.
sound like that, didn't it?
Well, and it's funny too, because earlier that day we made another contribution to the great state of Virginia.
Yeah.
We went to Sky Meadow State Park, which is just southeast of Winchester. We wanted to do this hike called Lost Mountain, and we went into the parking area, and it's, of course, one of those honor system things where you take one of those envelopes and you put the $7 that they want in there. I wish they would just make it like a nice whole number, like 5 or 10.
7's a whole number.
I mean,
It's just an odd number.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean? Like just a 5 or 10. I mean, you know, something that we normally have in our wallets. I don't have ones in my wallet.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Anyways, all I had was a 20.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to not pay this. So I was like, you know, this is going to be an awesome adventure for us. I'm just going to stick a 20 in the envelope, stick it in there, and be done with it. So, you know, it was, and it was worth it. I mean, the hike itself was amazing. You know, there's still some great foliage out there, lots of different colors along this mountain. And it wasn't a strenuous hike whatsoever. Probably not a hike that we would take Lucille on, but still, you know, nothing overbearing for us. It was probably about 6 miles total that we did, but worth every penny of that, or every whole dollar of that.
But yeah, so I thought it'd be fun to just kind of talk about ways that we're giving, and it may seem different than the usual, but just to show that there's so many small, tiny ways that I think everyone is doing it, that, you know, you're giving and it's making you happier. So
Yeah.
I kind of broke it down just because I think there's just various ways that I think about the way we give, and it could be monetarily, like money. It could be words, just by, I mean, words are so fucking powerful. I think sometimes we don't even think about that as like giving to someone or like a contribution.
That's because your love language is words of affirmation.
No, it's not.
One of them.
No, it's not. That's Mark's,
not.
our roomies.
That's what I meant.
So much for you knowing my
Good God, we talked about that earlier. I forgot about it.
just giving like your time or a service, and then things. So I thought it'd be cool just to share it in that category, and I can start it off. We'll
Yeah,
start
go
off with the easier one, on just monetary things.
Monetary.
So we really don't make these huge donations to like big charities. I think a lot of times just because I don't know where the money goes. I don't know enough about it. Honestly, sometimes I'm just too lazy to do all the research about it. So it's like we give more on a local level. Like we give really big tips to musicians if we resonate with them and we're enjoying
Sure.
them. We tips small business owners all the time, places that we frequent, like carry out and coffee. Like I always tip.
Yeah. And it's funny, like, I think it really took the pandemic for me to really kind of like think about that. Like, normally if we do carry out, I still do like a very small tip, but now, that these folks don't have people dining in as much, I'm like, I'm tipping as if we're dining in there.
Yeah.
And it's been really great with our small carry out place because that we visit frequently because she hooks it up a little bit too, and she recognizes that. But we try to go there as often as possible and make sure that we let them know that we really care, about them and what they're doing, and they're out there every day in a high risk area with people coming in and out, and
Very true.
I certainly respect the hustle that they have and what they're doing. So I'm perfectly willing to give a little extra for some carry out.
Yeah, and I mean, that's my perception. I view extra tips or even just tipping as a contribution. So I just thought that was like, if some people are like, man, I really don't. And I was that same way. I was like, man, Nick, we really don't give to many charities and stuff like that. But when I think about it, like just the act of giving because you want to and it makes you happy, like tipping is so fucking much a charity.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people they just think, oh, it's an expectation. But really, like, technically, you don't have to tip. You don't have to tip 15%. I mean, there are some places where there is a minimum, but
Sure.
we give because we want to give and not because it's
A requirement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I think, too, when it comes to, like, monetary donations to larger organizations, I don't seek them out. But if somebody asks, me to donate something, then I'll probably do a small amount, but it's nothing huge. But I really don't seek those kinds of things out, I guess.
No.
Is my big thing.
And I usually don't just because I don't know enough about it. And I really don't like giving unless I know more about it. But that's just me. But and something else we always give to is the cystic fibrosis event that we go to every year.
Yeah.
Just because it's near and dear to my heart, I resonate with the people, not because I had cystic fibrosis or I do, but I had a family member who did. And, we are always involved in events trying to raise money for that cause. And yeah.
Well, I love that event too because it brings our family together, or your side of the family. But more importantly, like we donate our time for that one. We cook a whole bunch of hamburgers and hot dogs, and we run this assembly line, and we've been doing it for so many years now. And you see the same people, like it's the same people who are doing the grill, who are putting the hot dogs in. I mean, we make probably 500 hamburgers, 500 hot dogs, if not more. And it's just a really fun morning. It's a great cause, and it is something that we resonate with, just because of how the charity affected your family.
So that's all I had for monetary wise, unless you had anything else to add.
No, I mean, I think we kind of covered the different monetary things that we offer. Like I said, it's usually stuff that resonates with us and is really near and dear to
It's
what
like
we value.
everyday stuff.
Yeah.
It's like everyday small things that I think add up to be like huge, probably sums of money when you think about it.
Yep.
So it's, something I think I don't view it as like a big sum, but then when I think about like, oh, I did like an extra $5 that time. Oh, I did an extra $2 that time. It adds up to be a pretty big donation in the end. So the second one I had was just having charitable words. Like, I think just by sharing somebody's business or sharing a product or a service that you find value in, whether it's social media or by word of mouth, I think that's a huge deal to local businesses.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I really love doing, and if it's a restaurant that I love going to, or even just a place that I love going to, I do like to contribute to Google Maps, photos of the place. And, they're always looking for pictures of the entrance and pictures of the food so that people can get an idea of what the place looks like. And then I I do that more than I do the reviews, and I'd like to start doing some more reviews with that, just to kind of continue to spread the message about the different places that we really like and we would feel that other people would like as well. So I do make it a point to, take those pictures, post it not only on Google Maps, but on social media, tag them, and make sure that people give it a shot.
That's kind of like how podcasts get spread too. It's not like you give money to podcasts and that's how they become popular. It's like you put a review on iTunes and spread the message of like the value that you get in that podcast, and that's how it gets bigger and more widespread
reviews,
to help
and then
more people.
Find like-minded people and you maybe share an episode.
So I just thought by adding in that, even just giving a stranger a compliment, like that's a huge contribution to someone. It could be, contributing to their mindset, contributing to their confidence. You could have completely turned that person's day upside down. They could have been having like the worst fucking day. And then just one thing, maybe just complimenting their hair or their shoes and being genuine about it. I think that is a charity in itself, and not like because they need it. It's because you want to give it, because you feel like that's what you want to do.
You're really good about that. There'll be times when we're walking and you'll notice something about somebody and you'll comment on it. You're better at it than I am. Like, I guess maybe I just don't notice like those small things. Like even when we were walking on the trail the other day, somebody said that they liked your tattoo.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, that in that moment, it's like, yeah, this is, thank you. That was awesome. But you tend to really do that a lot more than I do. And maybe I need to be a little bit more observant of other people and maybe just drop that little line. Hey, I like your sweater or your tattoo or whatever.
Well, I don't know if you can resonate with this, but I think before, when I was less confident, I wouldn't look people in the eye. I wouldn't look at people when I was passing. And I even told you, like, I'm trying to be better at, like, when I go on walks, like, looking at people in the eye and be like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Instead of just walking by and minding my own business. So I'm trying really hard to change that habit, because it's like once I start looking up instead of looking down, it's like that's how you connect with people, like actually making eye contact and just saying, like, and just noticing the person. And I think that's huge, just to feel noticed.
Well, that, and more times than not, you're going to get a smile. They're going to say hi back, and it's a very nice exchange.
And even if not, it's like that one person not saying hi to me is going to deter me. I'm like,
no,
I'm going to keep going.
What's going on with them? Yeah, it is what it is. Maybe they're having a bad day, but maybe you saying hi changed that for them, and they just didn't know how to react at that time.
Yeah, again,
you never know. Don't make too many assumptions. You always tell me that when we're driving.
I do.
Yeah, when I get a little.
I don't know if it helps you, but.
I mean, you make me laugh, which gets me out of being angry that this guy is driving 45 miles an hour and a 65 mile an hour in the fast lane.
Well, we never know anyone's story.
Well, you make up a great story for them.
Exactly. It's fun creating a story.
It's really off the wall and probably not true, but it is fun to kind of think of, hey, what's going on with this person.
Yeah, so I think just thinking of kind, genuine words as a form of giving and contribution, that's huge. I think sometimes that's way more powerful to me than money sometimes.
Oh, definitely. And it's very timely, and like you said, can change somebody's day.
The other category I had was just, donating, giving your time and services. And I think of like the events that we did with cystic fibrosis. I think about even just helping your friends, like helping them move, helping them build a playground or playhouse. I think sometimes we don't view the time that we give to our friends and family as a form of contribution, but that's huge. Just like giving.
Well, it definitely is. And,
your energy.
And just, people knowing that they can count on you when they need help with something. And yeah, I'm perfectly happy to build a play set, for my goddaughter and, her brother. It took a lot longer than we thought, but hell, it was worth every minute. Got free beer out of it. I'm kidding. That is a bonus.
Technically, it's not free because you're putting in some
exactly.
Good work.
But no, I'm always happy to help out when somebody asks, or even just offering to help. Like if somebody's telling me about a project they're working on, I'm like, hey man, that sounds really awesome. Do you need a hand with anything? And they're more than likely going to say, yeah, hey, I'm doing this, would you mind coming over for a few hours and helping out? That's fine. I've been asked to help people move more times than I can count. And I'm always happy to do it. Like it's it's no problem whatsoever. They would do the same thing for me if I asked them. So, I'm absolutely going to donate my time to help a friend in need.
Yeah, and then something else that we do once a week is this podcast. We donate our time once a week to sit down and we'll research about the topic and just make sure that what we're delivering is helping us, and more importantly, like, could spread the message to help someone else. Like, even if it's just one person, I think that's really powerful. And I even share my experiences and recipes on my blog, and I don't get paid to blog. Like,
No.
I know you can get paid to blog, but I don't want to. Like, I don't want to get into advertising and all that and monetizing it, because I feel like it would lose the joy it gives me. And it just feels good to sit down and like reflect.
And then it becomes work.
Yeah, that does. Right.
It makes it a little bit different when there's sponsors involved and other things. It puts a little bit more pressure on it, where I feel like this is very loose, and we've been very consistent about doing this podcast. I think we've maybe only taken 2 weeks off in the last 2 years, and we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary at the end of December. So
Crazy.
it is crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think we're not chasing any money, which makes this fun, and it makes it authentic. And the fact that you and I pretty much have a conversation at some point over the weekend about something, and are able to come up with a topic that's new and fresh and hopefully resonates with you.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun. So, no pressure on this one. We're
No.
going to continue to keep it the way that it is.
Yeah, and what it evolves to, it evolves. We want to always make sure that we stay aligned to who we are and what we value. And let's say someone down the road is like, hey, I would love to sponsor your podcast, and we believe in what they're doing. And we're like, you know what? You align to our values. Like, why not? Like, we're not anti-money by any means, but I think we're just trying to stay true to what feels right to us. And then we're open to whatever it evolves into or what it leads to.
That's right.
All right. So the last charity category was just things. And I think about like the clothing we donate to Goodwill and Purple Heart, and I donated like a TV to my elementary school that I work at.
Yeah.
So just furniture that we may have donated or given to friends and family. So it's funny that that's the one category that was the smallest. I couldn't think of a lot of things just besides clothes and furniture to like Goodwill and Purple Heart. I feel like the other categories, when it comes to time, services, words, and monetary, that those are the ones we do the most frequently, which to me, it's like that makes sense because we don't really value things. So it's kind of interesting how the charities that we spend the most time are kind of resonate with experiences, time together, which I thought was interesting.
Well, and I think the last category is a little bit more challenging because we went through like a big purge and we've got rid of a lot of stuff, and we now keep, the minimal amount of things, so clothes for Lucille and whatnot, and we're saving clothes for potential future cousins, or neighbors and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I would say that we will probably be more charitable when it comes to releasing Lucille's clothes to other folks, but we've done such a good job of decluttering and kind of purging things that are no longer, either, to use a word that Marie Kondo says, sparks joy, or that it's just
serves a
we're
purpose.
no longer it's no longer serves a purpose for us, but may serve a purpose for somebody else. And so I think it's a lot harder to talk about that now than maybe it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when we still had more things in the house.
Yeah, you can't give what you don't have.
Yeah. There's one thing that I think that we forgot to talk about, which has kind of been an annual tradition over the last 3 years, which also has to do with cystic fibrosis, is the Rise Up event that we go to every year, where we buy tickets and it's a nice evening, and there's a bunch of rye. We actually were going to try to do an event earlier this year with that. It was right before COVID hit. But it's just a really cool evening. We donate money, we donate time, and you really at that event get to see where the money goes, because you have one of the cystic fibrosis recipients there to give us a progress update every year, and it's so great to see her and see her give that little speech, towards the end of the event. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that was what I didn't want to forget about mentioning, because it is something that's been a tradition for us over the past few years.
Good call.
All right. Anything else, or you think
No.
we're ready to dive into our
I
resources?
think we're ready.
Let's do it.
All right, so I found a blog post that was "The Secret to Happiness is Helping Others." It was in Time Magazine. So they gave some tips that help you to give not until it hurts, but until it feels great. And I think that's what we do. We give until it feels great, and not for other reasons. So I just wrote down 3. I think they gave you like 7 or 9. One of them, a tip to kind of help you think about contribution in a way that makes sense to you, is just to find your passion. It is not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. It's only natural that we will care about this and not so much about that, and that's okay. It should not be simply a matter of choosing the right thing, but also a matter of choosing what is right for us.
Yeah, when I look back on everything we talked about, that's one of the consistent themes through everything.
Stay true to us.
Yep.
Yeah. The second tip was to give to organizations with transparent aims and results. According to Harvard scientist Michael Norton, giving to a cause that specifies what they're going to do with your money leads to more happiness than giving to an umbrella cause where you're not sure where your money is going. And that's why I view like the whole, tipping thing as just like, we know exactly where our money's going.
Yeah.
We see these people all the time. We have a relationship with them, and that's kind of what resonates with us and what makes sense to us.
Great. Yeah. No, it does make it a lot easier to give, and gives you, I think, more gratification when you directly see who it is impacting.
It's kind of like food. When you think about buying locally and where it's sourced, it's like you're more apt to invest in it if you know where it comes from.
Exactly.
All right, and
Good pull.
the last one I had was, don't be guilt-tripped into giving. The key is to find the approach that fits us. When we do, then the more we give, the more we stand to gain purpose, meaning, and happiness. All of the things that we look for in life but are so hard to find.
Nice.
That's it.
Awesome. How about that quote of the day then there, Jilly?
This one is from Unknown.
Old Unknown pops his head again, or
Well,
her head.
I had 2 quotes, but I can just share this one. A person's most useful asset is not the head full of knowledge, but a heart full of love, an ear ready to listen, and a hand willing to help.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just thought that kind of encompassed just all the different ways, we contribute or think of charity. Like there's more than one perspective than just big corporations or big charities and money. Like it's so much more powerful, and it's all around us in these small little moments.
Yeah. You don't like that word contribute, do you?
Contribute.
I'm just teasing you.
Contribute.
I'm going to do a contribute today.
I don't know why I say it that word.
It's all good. It's all good.
Boy.
All right. And your take action challenge for this week is?
Just to find ways to give that are meaningful to you, and just do it as often as you can. Not because you have to, but because you want to.
Perfect. Couldn't have said it better. All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you like this episode, please do us a favor and help us spread the message. You can do this by writing a review or simply by sharing this episode with a friend. And remember, sharing sparks a conversation, conversation leads to action, and action is how we're able to live a happy and intentional as hell lifestyle. We want to thank you all for listening today, and we will see you again next week.
See y'all later.